Let me ask you something. What would your life look like if you treated yourself like someone who mattered? Not in theory, not in empty words, but in truth. What if you walked, talked, and made decisions like someone who was worthy of honor, respect, and deep, undeniable love? Because here's the truth: real transformation doesn't begin with hustle, it doesn't begin with applause, it doesn't even begin with purpose. Transformation begins the moment you look in the mirror and stop searching for value outside of yourself and start recognizing that everything good you're chasing begins with loving the person staring back at you. We've been taught to chase validation. We've been told to achieve more, impress more, accumulate more. But let me tell you, the world will always demand more from a person who doesn't know their own worth. And the danger is this: if you don't love yourself, the world will teach you to hate yourself just to sell you solutions. But today, that cycle ends. Today, you remember who you are. Let's break this down into the truths that shift everything. There's a lie out here that says if you love yourself, you're arrogant. That if you believe in yourself, you're self-centered. But listen closely. Arrogance is thinking you don't need growth. Self-love is knowing you're worthy of growth. When you love yourself, you stop settling, you stop shrinking, you stop tolerating toxic people, environments, and patterns. You get clear. You stop letting people rent space in your life who never paid a price for your value. Loving yourself gives you the clarity to discern what belongs in your life and what needs to be removed. It sets the standard. And when your standard shifts, so does your destiny. Love isn't always soft. Sometimes love has to be loud. Sometimes love has to look you in the eye and say, stop sabotaging your future because of your past. When you love yourself, you stop making excuses. You start owning your decisions. You hold yourself accountable because you realize nobody is coming to save you. That job belongs to you. And it starts with a confrontation, not with the world, but with the inner critic, the inner coward, the old identity you've been dragging around like chains. When you love yourself, you don't let your past define your next step. You break the loop. You grow the root. Stop waiting for people to give you what you haven't given yourself. If you talk down to yourself, you'll tolerate disrespect. If you neglect your needs, you'll attract people who exploit that neglect. If you ignore your gifts, the world will too. Your relationship with yourself is the blueprint for your entire life. It's the seed, and whatever you plant internally will grow externally. That's why transformation doesn't begin with affirmation sit, begins with alignment. Loving yourself doesn't mean you think you're perfect. It means you value the process enough to protect your progress. You guard your peace. You choose your voice over the noise. You stop chasing love and start becoming it. You can't love yourself and stay in every room you're invited to. You can't love yourself and stay quiet when your soul is screaming. You can't love yourself and stay around people who drain your energy, mock your growth, and belittle your dreams. Self-love looks like walking away. It looks like silence. It looks like starting over. It looks like having enough faith in your future to leave behind what no longer serves it. Loving yourself means you trust that your destiny is worth protecting, that your peace is worth more than their opinions, that your time is too precious to waste on people who only clap when you lose. Change what you tolerate and you change what you attract. Love raises the bar. When you truly love yourself, you stop thinking small. You stop asking for permission. You stop explaining your vision to people who've never seen what you've been through. When you love yourself, you stop surviving and you start building. You no longer just get through the day, you design your future. You step into rooms with confidence, not comparison. You invest in your growth. You study, you build, you grind, not because you're trying to prove your value, but because you know you already have it. Self-love isn't passive, it's active, it's bold, it's visionary. It makes you dangerous to doubt and unstoppable in faith. You can't evolve while holding on to shame. You've made mistakes. So what? You've fallen short. Welcome to humanity. The power isn't in perfection, it's in redemption. Forgive the version of you that didn't know better. Forgive the you that tolerated less. Forgive the you that stayed silent when you should have spoken, that stayed small when you should have soared. When you love yourself, you don't stay chained to old chapters. You turn the page, you let the grace of God carry you into the future you were born for. Release the guilt, bury the shame, resurrect the dream. You want transformation? It doesn't start when you finally get the job. It doesn't start when they finally notice you. It doesn't start when life hands you a better season. It starts now with a decision to stop waiting for permission, a decision to stop chasing validation, a decision to stop running from yourself and finally come home to who you are. You don't have to fake it anymore. You don't have to beg for love anymore. You don't have to shrink anymore. Love yourself first. And watch how the world begins to adjust its posture to match your worth. Watch how the doors open. Watch how the wrong people exit and the right ones walk in. Watch how your vision expands. Watch how your life transforms. Because when you love yourself, you don't just change your mood, you change your momentum. And the future you're stepping into, it's been waiting for the version of you who finally decided to show up in love. The time is now. Start with love. Start with you.